Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the COP update from the LFC Daytrippers. It's Thursday, the 27th of January. I'm Gav, as always. I asked Kev O'Sullivan any news. I asked him about 2 hours ago, and he's absolutely bombarded me with news from Liverpool to transfers to women's FA Cup games, and he's absolutely lashed me over with loads of information. So we're going to have a lovely half an hour here talking all things Liverpool, Premier League transfers, and anything else that comes up in the chat, if that's okay. If you're watching, look, please hit the like button. There's 20 or so watching at the minute. You're up to 16 likes, which is deadly. So hit the like button, subscribe, share, and most of all comment, because the comments are what make it. Genuinely, the comments are what make it. Every show we do, but this one in particular, when I'm on my own, I do need a bit of a hand. John O'Fitz said the place is packed, there's 2 waiting. He must have said that before we come on. Hannah says there's 4 now, just before we come on. Picking up now, says John O'Fitz, it is. Cedric says hello. Yossi, how are you, my man? He says hello. And Kev O'Sullivan, the main man himself, yeah, he says afternoon. And Dynamo Kev is in. And look, there's a good few people in there, and it will grow as the half an hour goes on. So, want to ask you all how you are on this Thursday afternoon. Not bad here in Ireland. Weather's not too bad, not too cold. It's dry. That's the main thing. Shawnee's in. Jamie's in. Kuda Runyoa, I hope I got that right, mate. He says Barca swoop for Traore. We're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. If you have any other transfer stuff that I don't have, throw it in and we'll discuss it. And as I said, if you have any questions, comments, whatever it might be, let me know and we will get to it. I feel like I should have brought a guest on today with the amount of stuff that's on here, but if I brought on a guest, we'd probably be here for an hour and a half, and that just does not work. Kevin Ball says we'll be interested to see how desperate some team gets before the window shuts. I think it's starting to ramp up now, Kev, to be honest with you, with the amount of names that's on my list today. Red Steve says hoodie. Yeah, this hoodie was hanging around, threw it on because it is a little bit cold. Nearly payday, says Barry. Hang in there, folks. And Kuda Runyoa says I got his name perfect, which is sound, and Cahill has just come in as well. So let's kick it off. First of all, Jurgen Klopp has been nominated for the Premier League Manager of the Month in January, and he should get it. And here's my reason why. He had to put up at Arsenal for a couple of weeks. That's the end of my argument. He should be Premier League Manager of the Month. He's done a great job in January, in fairness to him. League Cup flying, FA Cup no problem. Still waiting on the Champions League, but in the league he has reduced the lead on Manchester City. So yeah, it should be his, and anyone else gets it. No, not having it. Dylan O'Rourke says, what do you make of the Harry Kane quotes? Haven't read them, Dylan, but if you want to throw them in there, I will absolutely give an opinion and call them out to the people that are watching here or listening later on the download. Nat Phillips. Newcastle have had a bid rejected for Nat Phillips. It looks like they've made a bid of a loan with an obligation to buy, but the obligation only kicks in if Newcastle stay up. Liverpool have turned that down and are still holding out for 12 million quid. I think it's perfectly fair from Liverpool to say that we shouldn't be giving a player away for a loan deal and nothing at the end of it if Newcastle don't stay up. If they want them, take them and pay the money. And Newcastle are getting to this stage where I think they're trying to be clever. They are trying to do some loan moves with, some obligations, maybe some options, but I think it's the right thing to do. Despite the massive wealth they have, you still have to look at it in a sense of player turnover and bringing players in. And if you bring them in on big deals now for years and then you don't want them, trying to get them out, because they are going to pay them monstrous money, and probably more than any other club will pay them. So it's one of those. But Nat Phillips looks like a deal rejected or a bid rejected from Newcastle, with an obligation to buy, but only if Newcastle stay up, and Liverpool not onto that. I wonder will Roy Hodgson have a look at Nat Phillips now, because Watford were rumoured to be the team that had a £7 million bid rejected earlier in the window. I've convinced Dylan O'Rourke on the Manager of the Month, which is great. C. Cotter says, listening to yesterday's show, Gav, and I want new owners. Fed up acting like cheap transfers are a good thing. They don't come out of our pocket. Yeah, look, I've no issue if you want new owners. The only question I asked was the type of owner you will end up with going on from FSG. Are you comfortable with that? Are you not? Some are, some aren't. And I understand the ones that are. because just the way football's going. And I understand the ones that aren't, because Liverpool have a certain way of doing things and have done for years and years and years. All their money on a loan with obligation. No thanks, says Gareth. How's the farm, Gav, says Luke. Yeah, it's good. It's good at the moment, yeah. All good. Yeah, but Gareth, that's the thing. They're trying not to be overzealous with their money, I think. And it's probably something where they're trying to lay a bit of a foundation for when the summer comes. Because if they get absolutely ripped in January, they'll like ramp it up a bit more in the summer when teams have more time to play the game. You know, that sort of way. Surely Newcastle will stay up, says Tomas. I don't know. It's a mad one down there. You know, Norwich have shown signs of being able to get over. Burnley are bottom but have 4 or 5 games in hand. Who else is down there? Watford, new manager. Will he get a bounce? Everton being dragged into it. There's loads down there. It's probably 3 from 5. I think 3 from 5 is about right. And we just have to wait and see. I can see Nat Phillips going to Watford. Perfect Hodgson players. Carl Robinson. Yeah, I think he will go, but I think Liverpool are right in what they want. Is that guy Carvalho free to speak to clubs with 6 months left on his contract? Clubs outside of the UK, yes. Clubs inside the UK, no. So that's it. John asked, did you see Jamie Carragher's son played for Wigan? I know he plays for Wigan. I didn't see him playing the other night, but they played the other night and won. Let me see. It's Doggy Dog, Gav, says C. Cotter coming back on the FSG. You need to be run by a nation to win the league in about 3 years' time. It looks that way. Or, you know, that's certainly the road a couple of clubs are going down. It's just a question of are you happy with that or are you not? Because I find a lot of people that don't kind of respect what Man City have done because of who they're owned by, and in turn will turn around and say, yeah, well, let's do what they're doing. You know, if you can't beat them, join them attitude. And I'm not 100% comfortable with it, but I can only see it going one way because of the owners we have now, the status of the club now, what it would cost to buy us, and you're definitely not getting a return on your investment. Simply aren't. Unless you're buying it for 2 billion and you think 2.2 or 2.3 billion is worth it, or 3 billion is worth it, but you'd have to pump a lot in. So it's one of those. Let me go through a couple of names. So Adama Traore was linked heavily with Tottenham. Firstly a loan, then a loan to buy, then a straight deal, then was it 25 million Spurs didn't want to give it. It looks like Barcelona now are favourites to sign Adama Traore, and it looks like when you read through it all, Wolves want rid of him. He's been on the bench the last little while for them. They feel they can get X amount of money for him, and Barcelona look like they're interested, and Adama Traore looks like he favours a move to Barcelona. He was in the Barcelona academy, started out there, I think. Looks like a loan with an obligation to buy at £29 million, which is over what Spurs wanted to pay, way over. It's over what I think Wolves are asked Spurs to pay, and it gets Barcelona to the summer before they have to pay for him. So it's an interesting one. You know, I think Conte has definitely wanted something at a right wing back. You know, I don't know if he has complete trust in Matt Doherty and stuff like that. So it's one of those where Barcelona have come in and people will ask, like, how can they do this? Like, they signed Ferran Torres for 55. They had to move players out of the way to get him on. Now they can do this. The fact that it's a loan deal, I think, is what they can get away with. Bring him in on loan. So I think that's one that might work. But again, Spurs look like they're being linked with certain players and it's just not happening. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But that's Adama Traore at the moment. It looks like Barcelona are favourites at 29 million in the summer, an initial loan deal. Hannah says the thought of LFC being used as a vehicle for sports watching turns me. Yeah, it's whatever your personal preference is, but I think it's fairly straightforward as to if FSG sell, who's going to buy and the type of buyers you're going to get. It's a very, very, very small selection of people or companies that could buy Liverpool and buy them to the point where they can buy them, put an X amount of money in, and not look for all back. So that's just the way it goes. There was a quote from Adama, apparently, said no to Spurs as he was going to be playing a right wing back. Oh, this is over, Adama, yeah. I think Adama Traore wants to play in a front three, to being honest with you. I think that's where he's most comfortable and probably does his most damage. But look, he's going to Barcelona. It looks like he's going to Barcelona. Let's see where it goes. Somebody asked earlier, did you see the Harry Kane quotes? If you can come back and let me know what them quotes are, again, I'll read them out. Conte will leave Spurs before we even notice any difference with them. He'll end up in a row over money, I think. I think that's a given because most Spurs managers do. But Conte loves his money. Loves his money. So let's see how it goes. Dybala mentioned yesterday. Reports have come out that Liverpool had made contact as to say, look, we're interested. If he's not signing a deal, we're interested. So Man City have apparently entered the fray now, willing to offer him a mega deal over 5 years. The money being talked is £250,000 a week. But we'll have to wait and see on Dybala, because the big thing that came out of that for me was Dybala won't sign another contract. Juventus aren't looking to sell now, and we'll be talking to him in February and March and to see exactly what happens. So it could be a bit of tit for tat for the contract there at Barcelona or at Juventus. But again, we'll have to wait and see. The report today is that Man City have entered the fray and will be interested, and that doesn't surprise anyone. City, Chelsea, Newcastle in about a year's time. All these clubs are going to just go look at every player and go, yeah, we'll have a look. We can definitely do something. So there you go. We'll have to wait and see on Dybala, but I can't see him going to Liverpool. For the sort of money he would want, the age he's at, and the style of player he is, I don't know if he fits. Like Garrett says, he's a lovely technician, but can't see him fitting in our system. Yeah, a little bit of that for me, but he's quality, and you can usually fit quality into your side. But I just don't know if that deal works for Liverpool. I just don't see it. Donny van der Beek, or Van der Beek, whatever way you want to call it. I actually feel sorry for this fella, and I have done from very early on his Manchester United career. He signed not last summer, the summer before, in around the time that they were meant to be signing Jadon Sancho, and I thought he was a brilliant signing for Manchester United. Having watched him in that run for Ajax in the Champions League 18-19, he was brilliant, and I thought he was the sort of player that United could come in, get someone, even two steady sixes behind him, and let him really work, or just a good six and put him beside somebody. But he could be the man that, a bit like in Liverpool's team at the moment, like where the fella off the right runs and gets into the box, looks to be progressive, can hold it, can see a pass. He's a fantastic footballer, Donny van der Beek. Anytime I've seen him, I've really, really liked him. The rumour is that he wants to move to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace are meant to be interested. Patrick Vieira, of course, is a manager there. And I never knew this, but apparently it's true. His father-in-law is Dennis Bergkamp. So Donny van der Beek is not happy at Manchester United. I'm not one bit surprised. When you're putting Matic, Fred, McTominay ahead of this guy, what are you up to? They've ruined him. They've absolutely ruined him. And I feel like he was a signing just to appease people when they knew Jadon Sancho wouldn't be signing for United that summer. And in fairness to him, he should have been one where you go, he's a brilliant signing. Forget Jadon Sancho. But that's the rumour going around with regards to Donny van der Beek. I've said it on numerous occasions. I would love Donny van der Beek at Liverpool. I'd love him in one of those 8 positions, especially the one where you give a bit of freedom to, and you look to be progressive, and you look to get in the box, you look to score, assist, just get forward, be that little bit different. He can do everything, Van der Beek, and he hasn't been given a opportunity anywhere in that side on any regular basis whatsoever. It's absolutely unbelievable. But there must be something missing with him, says Connor. They're desperate for a mid, and it's the second manager not interested. I just don't think he suits the way they want to play. I just don't think they suit. Like, if you look at the midfield they go in with, they usually go in with 2 sixes in Fred and McTominay or Matic, right? And then they want to play like 4-2-3-1. If he just changes that to 4-3-3, they get more out of the team. And he's a better player than if you had McTominay, Fred, or anyone in there. They don't seem to want a midfielder that pushes with it. Pushes and moves up the pitch with the ball. They want to play the more direct football. He was great at Ajax, Kevin Ball. He really was. And I'd love him at Liverpool, but that's the rumour. Van der Beek, Palace. Noah Lang from Bruges, valued apparently on transfermarket.com, whatever, at about £22.5 million, has been put forward again as an alternative to Luis Diaz as a signing for Liverpool. Really impressive, really impressive player. I know loads in this chat like Noah Lang. Let me know if you like him, let me know if you don't. But his name came up today. Off the back of the Luis Diaz stuff, Luis Diaz linked with Liverpool, Luis Diaz bid from Spurs, all this sort of stuff. But he's a player that's come up as a probably 50% less than Luis Diaz in money, but would be as being put forward as a possible transfer target for Liverpool. Let me know what you think of him. But from all accounts, he's so highly rated, and he's definitely one that if you wanted to make a list of players Liverpool could be looking at, or you'd like to see them go for, I know there's a lot of Liverpool fans that would have him on it. A lot of Liverpool fans that watch a lot of European football. So there's one for you. Adeyemi of Salzburg, that he's being linked with Liverpool as well, but everyone has. But he's a really highly rated striker of Salzburg. 20 years of age from what I can remember, and it looks like the talk coming out is that his move to Dortmund looks more and more likely to happen. Now, you would think that he looks like he might be a replacement for Erling Haaland, who more than likely will go in the summer. We don't know where yet, but Adeyemi from Salzburg to Dortmund looks more and more likely according to reports. So we'll have to see what happens there. He's another player. He's really exciting. He's really exciting. You've seen players like Daka come into the Premier League, and I think Daka is excellent. But Adeyemi is a really special talent, and Dortmund always seems to be the path for these players, doesn't it? But that looks more and more likely. So see where that goes. Excuse me. Gino Wijnaldum has apparently said he's happy to stay at PSG. He's been linked away from PSG since probably October, November, and this is going on. Now, there's a bit more on this because Spurs and Arsenal are being linked with Gino Wijnaldum, which is cool. PSG have made inquiries about Ndombele from Spurs, but they want a loan with obligation to buy. Spurs want a deal done now. Maybe they could work something out. With Wijnaldum going the other way, it could be a case of loan with obligation, but we give you Wijnaldum for 6 months or whatever it might be. But Wijnaldum apparently says he's happy to stay at Spurs. Arsenal interested, Ndombele getting some interest from PSG, but the term of that deal doesn't seem to be matching up with PSG and Spurs. Arsenal linked with another player today, Hossam Aouar, who's changed agent apparently. It must have been his agent stopping everyone from going in and biting on him for the last 2.5 years. But Hossam Aouar is the latest player to be linked with Arsenal. I think this fella is deadly. I have to be honest with you. He's always on my mind when it comes to players signing for Liverpool and midfielders. And again, those players that can affect things going forward. But Arsenal have been linked with Hossam Aouar. I think didn't they have? Is it Arthur Melo they were linked with from Juve? I don't know if that's going ahead. It might look like that deal might be dead. So Aouar is the next one. Donny will be Donny van der Beek would only be a loan. Yeah, it would be a loan deal. He wants to move to Palace. He wants to get some football. You know what I mean? Because he wants to play in this World Cup. You know what I mean? So he has to go and play football somewhere to try to get into it. But Hossam Aouar changed agent. Arsenal are latest linked to him, but Arsenal are going to be linked with loads because Arsenal seem to be looking for 2 or 3 by the looks of it. So we'll have to wait and see. Sula from Bayern. We all know he's going to leave Bayern at the end of the season. Spurs have been linked. Chelsea have also been linked, and of course Bayern have been linked with Chelsea's Christensen. So it could be one going one way and one going the other. With regards to Chelsea and Bayern, but Sula knows he's leaving Bayern at the end of the season, and he's free to go, isn't he? So apparently Spurs have shown an interest there. Monchi at Sevilla has said that Newcastle's bid for Diego Carlos was a good bid. It was a respectable bid, but not enough to make them sell, as they don't have time to find a replacement. So that looks like it may not happen. That's not a long-term target, Newcastle, but that's one of the first names that came out when we approached January with regards to Newcastle. But it looks like it won't happen, and Monchi has said they just don't have time for a replacement. Burnley are looking for a striker, Orsic from Zagreb. I think Kev was saying to me earlier, that's the guy that scored against Spurs to knock them out of Europe. And also, I want to say this right, Wakehurst. Burnley are looking at him. I think I see him 15 million written on that, 7 million for Orsic, but Burnley need a striker after Chris Wood has left. So you'll have to go and see what happens with them. And that's about it. That's all the links we have. There's loads of them, but I'm sure more will come out over tomorrow for tomorrow's show and across the weekend. And of course, we'll cover the transfer window on Monday night, right up until it closes. Sule is going to Barcelona, says Patrick Flannery. With Barca, you see, they'll be looking for some sort of deals like this. But it's interesting, Barcelona being linked with all these different type of players. And, Xavi there, is he having to just cut his cloth accordingly for the moment before they settle down and sort their money issues out, and then he can go and put his real stamp on this team. But we'll have to wait and see. Connor says, Gav, could you do a weekly show dedicated to Arsenal? No, I couldn't. They always interest me, Arsenal. They bug the shit out of me now over the league cup stuff. So we'll have to wait and see. Wakehurst is 6'6", an absolute unit, says Kev O'Sullivan. It suits Burnley well. They need someone. Arsenal went to Dubai on training trip and left Aubameyang. They took Jack Wilshere along, though. Unreal. There's always talk every couple of weeks that Jack Wilshere's like being trained with Arsenal. He looks deadly. Could he get a game for them? So it's a weird one there. I don't think there's much more than that, to be honest with you. I just wanted to come on, give us the update on Phillips, Klopp being nominated, all them players being linked with Liverpool and others, and deals that may or may not happen. But the names and the volume of names seem to have gone up massively in the last 24 hours with regards to moves. And listen, they'll go up again tomorrow, and they'll definitely go up Saturday, Sunday, and then I think Monday might be a little bit mad. I don't think any massive deals will happen, but I think a few surprise ones might happen. But like teams talking about getting players in now, the other teams that are taking them off have to get replacements, so it could get busy. Then again, fucking nothing might happen. It might be just quiet with the odd one or two going through. Women's FA Cup this weekend. Liverpool's women face Lincoln on Sunday at 2 p.m. at Prenton Park, Tramiers ground. So hopefully they get through that. They're in great form at the moment, in fairness to the women's team. They're a good few points clear in the league. I know the team behind them have a game in hand, but I think it might be 7 points clear. The other team have a game in hand, but they have a good run of games coming up. If you check out tonight at 8 p.m, we've pre-recorded a women's show. You have Chris obviously hosting. You've got, I think, Neil Atkinson, Phillips Smallwood, and the talk the BBC, Emma Sanders. They've pre-recorded a show the other day. We're going to put that out at 8 p.m. tonight. So go and watch that, because the women's stuff is really hotting up. And they're doing really well, and it'd be great to see them get back into the Premier League of women's football and have a good cup run as well. So make sure you check out that show later. Chris works very, very hard. He does it once a month. He brings you as much information as he can, and the guests are great as well. So make sure you check them out. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. 40 shows per month, free on YouTube and across all your podcast platforms, and of course Féileacáin, our charity that we're helping out. Talking to one of the guys there last night, and Jesus, like, when you talk about what they do and what they do to help others, and even little things they run to help, parents that have lost kids during and just after pregnancy, it's amazing. We're going to actually try meet up with them in the next little while. They actually do some football training, so we're going to go and try do that. We're going to try do a little fundraiser around it, talk to them, maybe record a bit of stuff with them, just to give people an idea as to what they do and how good this charity is. So check out in the description, you can find the link to that website, the link to our donate page, and if you don't want to do it there, check out our own website, lfcdt.com, and you can get all the details right on the front page there as well. Let me see. Chris, last women's show had Neil and Emma on it too. Worth a watch if you've missed it, says Red Steve. Yeah, they're fairly regular guests, them three, and they're really good. And it's a really good show. I think it usually lasts about an hour. But we're going to have that out at 8 o'clock tonight. So make sure you go and check that, like it, share it around, because the women's football is really gathering pace, and Liverpool doing well deserve some coverage as much as the men do for us. They deserve some coverage as well, the women. So that's it. That has been your COP update. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, As I said, that women's show will be out tonight for you to watch. And we will be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Over now.